Well, today we are going to go through some of the most convincing arguments on behalf of abortion advocates, and we are going to talk about them. Suffice it to say, they're not all that convincing. They come from some of our most prominent people like Billie Eilish, a very convincing figure in the history of modern ethics. We'll go through all of these arguments, and yeah, we'll see how that goes for them. This video is sponsored by Naturally It's Clean. Oh no!
Different people will interpret their own moral lights, and for that matter, interpret Scripture differently.
Oh, sweet.
But we live in a country where it is extremely important that no one person have to be subjected to some other person's interpretation of their own religion. My point is that it shouldn't be up to a government official to draw the line. It should be up to the woman who's confronted with the choice. If this is a late-term situation, then by definition, it's one where a woman was expecting to carry the pregnancy to term. Then she gets the most, perhaps devastating news of her life. I don't know what to tell them morally about what they should do.
You don't?
I just know that I trust her, and her decision, medically or morally, isn't going to be any better because the government is commanding her to do it in a certain way.
Okay, Matt, the consequences to these particular philosophies that basically killing a baby in the 9th month, because life is very difficult and there are bad choices, killing a baby is now okay and the government has nothing to say about it. This is from the same guy who believes that basically everything in American life should be regulated down to the emissions on your cars. But when it comes to can people kill babies in the 9th month, he's like, hands off here, man. Hands off. Because after all, these are tough decisions. Pretty amazing. Also, I love when we get Pastor Pete. Pastor Pete is my favorite version of Pete Buttigieg, the one who cites the Bible because he is such a Bible expert. And he's going to lecture all of us who have traditionally read the Bible, like the text of the Bible and taken it pretty seriously. But he takes it super seriously by ignoring broad swaths of it and then declaring that it's up to a woman to kill a baby whenever she pleases.
In some of my work, I defend a liberal position about early abortion. So I defend the view that there's nothing morally bad about early abortion. So a lot of people think, well, it's permissible to have an abortion, but something bad happens when the fetus dies. And I think if a fetus hasn't ever been conscious, it hasn't ever had any experiences, and we abort it at that stage, that actually nothing morally bad happens. What I think is that actually, among early fetuses, there are two very different kinds of beings. So, James, when you were an early fetus, and Elliot, when you were an early fetus, all of us, I think that we already did have moral status then. But we had moral status in virtue of our futures, in virtue of the fact that we were the beginning stages of persons. But some early fetuses will die early in pregnancy, either due to abortion or miscarriage. And in my view, that's a very different kind of entity. That's something that doesn't have a future as a person, and it doesn't have moral status.
Wow. That is a time travel argument right there.
Great Scott.
You don't too often hear the time travel argument for abortion. I will say that the graphic there of the baby disappearing into nothing, she's like, this means nothing. And the baby disappears into nothing, and your heart kind of goes, ugh. The argument that she is making right there is that if you are born, this means retroactively you had value as a fetus. But if you were never born, you had no value as a fetus. So if I present to you a fetus today, you do not know whether it will be born. You do not know whether it will live to be 30 or 70. You don't know whether it'll be hit by a car when it's 2 years old, or whether it will die in childbirth. You don't know any of those things. Because you don't know any of those things, it has no moral status. But it would have retroactively had moral status if you could go back in a time machine from now to 30 years ago when you were a fetus, then you had moral status. Or alternatively, you're just speaking absolute gobbledygook bullshit, because that's crazy.
It makes no damn sense.
Either the fetus has moral status or it does not have moral status. And the moral status of the fetus is not dependent on going 30 years into the future to see what happened to the baby, especially when the killing that you are doing is happening right now. Also, I love how she just conflates miscarriage and abortion, as though these are the same thing. The spontaneous abortion of a fetus by the human body is not the same thing as you deliberately killing a healthy human being in your womb. Not the same thing at all. And any attempt to conflate the two is just morally idiotic. We'll get to more of our celebrities arguing on behalf of the killing of the unborn in just 1 second. First, something cleaner. I love my kids, and I have a lot of kids at home. This means you can't leave dangerous chemicals just lying around. Did you know that you can get a hospital-grade cleaning product that will not leave harmful chemicals on all your surfaces? Introducing Naturally It's Clean, a home cleaning company dedicated to providing you the most effective cleaning products for your home while reducing the use of harmful chemicals. Their secret, powerful plant-based enzymes, nature's solution to cleaning. When I say powerful, I'm talking about hospital-grade enzyme cleaning power. Naturally It's Clean has safer chemistry formulas to clean every area of your home, from the bathroom to your hardwood floors to your kitchen. All of their products are manufactured right here in the United States. They offer free 2-day shipping direct to your door. So here's the thing. Naturally It's Clean is like magic. It just cleans everything. They've got the laundry stain remover. They've got the carpet cleaner. I use all of it because, frankly, my kids get everything dirty. Try all of their products for yourself right now. My listeners can get their hands on the Naturally It's Clean Daily Wire Essential Kit, stocked with 4 great products for 15% off. Simply visit naturallyitsclean.com/Ben. Use promo code Ben. That's right. Try out these incredible cleaning products in your home today for 15% off by visiting naturallyitsclean.com/Ben. Promo code Ben.
Hey.
Hi.
I am so sick and tired of old men.
So I feel like she's sick and tired of everything, this one.
Men in general. Sorry. But old ones.
What a delight.
Especially.
This person is. She seems happy.
Shut the up about our body. Oh my God. Shut the up. Like,
These people seem to live such happy, fulfilled lives in their ideology.
and I have to be honest with you that when they made shit a law, I almost didn't want to do this show. So, because I wanted to punish this place for allowing that to happen here. But then I remembered that it's you guys that are the victims, and you deserve everything in the world.
If you can't kill your unborn babies, you're a victim. That's.
And we need to tell them to shut the up.
She's a genius. Wow. A happy, fulfilled genius.
Do this.
Wow. And with that middle finger.
My body, my choice.
Honest to God, they're like 4-year-old children.
Keep 'em up there.
4-year-old children, people who think like this. What unpleasant humans. Seriously. Does that seem like a happy, pleasant human? A person whose lifestyle you'd wish to emulate? I feel like that's worth asking at some points, because the left offers the notion that you're going to be completely fulfilled if you vitiate every duty, if you eviscerate every basic human decency, you will live a more happy, fulfilled, and free life. Does this look happy, fulfilled, and free to you? Seriously? If it does, by all means, engage. This does not seem like the kind of life that any healthy person would want to have, is the kind of life where you walk around flipping people off in the crowd, saying the word f*** over and over while being immensely depressed and immensely wealthy. Man, when people do this routine, like, I am so sick and tired of people telling me what to do with my body. I'm so sick and tired of people. Again, just ignoring the presence of the other person involved in this equation is the way that you get to this. Because the minute that you acknowledge there's another person involved in this equation, her talk sounds a lot more like John C. Calhoun than it does like female empowerment. By the way, this is what the pro-abortion movement will argue, that if you don't feel that it's a child, it's not a child. In the same way that if you feel like you're a woman, you're a woman. And if you feel like you're a man, you're a man. If you don't feel like this is a child, then it's not a child. If you don't feel like somebody else has moral worth, they don't have moral worth. It turns out that your narcissistic, navel-gazing sense of self-preoccupation has really ugly consequences for other human beings who do exist in the real world.
I'm Scarlett Johansson, and I support Planned Parenthood. A woman's right to choose is a very personal one, and it should not be a political issue. It's so important to stand behind Planned Parenthood and support them. My mom growing up always said to me, she was like, you know, you got to do it yourself. Like, nobody's going to do it for you. Women are our own best advocates. So I think it's important for women to stand up for women. It's important for women to support women. And it's important for women to represent women.
Okay, I noticed that there was one word that did not appear anywhere in there, and that is abortion. Did you notice that?
Isn't that funny the way those things happen?
It's important for women to support women. It's important for everybody to support women. It's also important for everybody to support babies. You know, women are their own best advocates. Well, actually, it turns out that women are sometimes their best advocates, and sometimes men are women's best advocates, and sometimes women are men's best advocates. And okay, fine. All of that's fine. Planned Parenthood is not a female advocacy organization. It's an abortion mill. Planned Parenthood performs hundreds of thousands of abortions every year. That is what they are there to do. They're a medical organization that performs abortions. Period. This is where their money is. This is where their donations go. The pretend nonsense where Planned Parenthood is some sort of like, what? Women's wage advocacy organization? or an anti-sexual harassment organization. All the euphemisms the left has to use with regard to the termination of the unborn, which itself is a euphemism with regard to the killing of the unborn. All the euphemisms, termination, abortion, Planned Parenthood, all of this stuff just demonstrates they don't want to talk about the issue, because when they talk about the issue, people immediately get uncomfortable. And they get uncomfortable because deep down in the human soul, something knows that there is something deeply wrong with a society that allows the killing of 1 million unborn children every year out of a perverse sense of authenticity and entitlement. Scarlett Johansson, I will notice that there is a peculiar oddity when it comes to feminist thought these days, which is that apparently abortion is all about female empowerment, but also men can have babies. They never quite explain why it's female empowerment abortion when it turns out that you cannot characterize a woman in any biological way, that a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man. So what does abortion have to do with women's rights? Why isn't it uterine rights or baby bag rights or whatever they wish to call it, birthing people rights, vagina holders rights? Like, it's just, these people are, they're silly and they're illogical and they don't have any good arguments to bring to bear with regard to these issues. And so it's all just emotional appeals and teenage flipping off of crowds and shouting the F word.
Facts.